What is going on, everyone? Scion's here with the Everyday Grind. Today, we're going to talk about my top 5 most fun classes to play in the Elder Scrolls Online. Yes, there's meta builds and other builds and top-end builds and all that stuff, but I think player base forgets sometimes games are supposed to be fun to play. We're going to do that today. I'm going to give you my top 5 most fun classes to play, in my opinion. If you want to talk about it, come find me on Twitch. I stream every day except Thursday. And please like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell right here on this YouTube channel so that you know when I upload another video. Here we go. My top 5 most fun classes to play in the Elder Scrolls Online. Let's go. Starting in no particular order, because this is about the 5 most fun classes in the Elder Scrolls Online. We're going to start with the Stamina NIGHTBLADE. This was my very first character I ever made after I watched the initial Elder Scrolls Online release video. I loved watching that Breton NIGHTBLADE run around, be the overall hero, pull out his bow, pull out his swords, swing on the rope, destroy things. It was great. Stamina NIGHTBLADEs are the rogues or the rangers, which is my favorite class of any game of ESO. And as you can see here, I'm having a blast running around and destroying everything. I do use all cast build guides, and I'll link his builds in the description below, but I don't use them 100%. I tweak the builds based on my playstyle and how I want to play. In here, you'll see me use Whirlwind, for example, which is not in the guide. It's in part of a guide, but it's not the actual, this is the best skill to use. I also, once in a while, will use Teleport Strike, which I think is an underrated NIGHTBLADE ability. Teleport Strike lets you cover more ground. Basically, you teleport right in front or behind the enemy, and when you hit them, you stun them on contact. Very, very useful in some situations. NIGHTBLADEs are fun, deadly, and overall well accepted in all forms of gameplay, and I'm talking about PvE, PvP, in-game PvE, and PvP. Magicka builds are the meta builds in the game. However, that's usually for the top 1% of players going after a score. I'm not that player. I'm going to have fun. All builds are viable, and you get to choose what is fun. I'm also using the second gear build off of the all cast guides, Briarheart with Hunting's Rage, which are both overland set gear pieces. It's easy to get off of questing or crafting, or you can buy them off of a trader. The best gear comes out of the trials or raids, but I haven't had a piece drop yet. Not one. I've gone several times, haven't had one piece drop. The current set I'm using does very good damage in dungeons and overland content. If you pair all of this with the build that I've changed up, it makes for a very fun playing experience. And that's what we're doing here. We're having fun. Another favorite of mine, Magicka Templar. Yes, Scions went with a Magicka build here. This is the Paladin of ESO. Magicka Templar is very, very strong. This is a meta build that I'm using. I'm actually using a meta build here. And I'm using the Overland Dungeon gear set Medusa paired with Mother's Sorrow. It's considered the best sets. I don't see any reason to not use them. One of the monster sets, Zon's, is a really, really good monster set, but I haven't been able to acquire a piece of that yet. Monster sets are 2-piece sets that in most cases enhance your damage output or your throughput. In some of the builds, you may only need to wear 1 piece because of the legendary piece, Ring of the Pale Order. You get Ring of the Pale Order through the Antiquity system. Not having these currently on this character does not hold me back from doing great damage, and in the game overall, it's really fun to play. It's very fun to play. I'm able to close into melee range and then back out to smash the enemy with ranged magic damage. It's just fun. Most of the builds you see have a bow or PvP talents needed to be a bit more viable. That's not the case here. It's all Magicka build, the whole thing. You can use this build to solo arenas and dungeons. I've done it. I'm not a huge fan of meta builds usually, as they lack flavor, and in some cases, a better and more well-rounded player that synergizes with the build can outplay a meta build. But this build particularly, it really shines, and I didn't see any skills that I thought would be comparable or more fun. I just had a great time playing this class. Next up, Stamina Templar. Another stamina class makes its way onto the fun list. Stamina Templar takes what's great from the Magicka build and drops it right into this one. Using some of the Fighters Guild skills, Brawler and Reverse Slash pairs really well with the Biting Jab skill. There could be an argument of swapping Barbed Trap, which is another Fighters Guild skill, in place of Consuming Trap on the build, right? We're looking at all cast. He's telling us what to use. for more damage, but it's your choice. It's really not that big of a deal. Each is viable, and it's up to you which skill you want to use. Use of the bow with this build, two-handed weapons, and completing some PvP ranks to gain the skill Echoing Vigor, which is a heal, makes this pseudo-paladin really fun to play. Gear will be easy to get, and I'm talking about mid-level gear, with some dungeon running and overland content. I would advise you to start with Hunting's Rage and Briarheart set pieces once again. That's going to get you started. If you want to get into the top tier gear, you're going to want to run Frost Vault Dungeon, and you're going to want to farm Zogvin's gear and use some of that with the Briarheart pieces set, and you'll see that in all-cast build with use of Ring of the Pale Order, which again comes from the Antiquity system. Don't forget the farming involved in Frost Vault to get some of this Zogvin's gear. It's pretty intense. Some people get really, really lucky. Some people have to run it quite a bit to get all of the pieces, but if you want that top tier build, you're going to have to do a little bit of grinding. My advice, have fun with it. Love this build and get in there and smash stuff. Back to another Magicka build. One of the most popular classes in the Elder Scrolls Online is the Magicka Sorcerer. There are a ton of different builds, some with pets exclusively, some with one-bar builds, some with a combination of both. Here, I'm using a combination of both and having a blast. The Crystal Fragment skill is your go-to ability and hits freaking hard. But my favorite ability here is the Mage's Guild ability, Meteor. The sound it makes, and it's streaking down to smash your opponents, and the final burst of power as it explodes makes me giggle inside every time. It's great. One of the easiest classes to learn here, the Magicka Sorcerer does awesome damage, and the player base is full of them. The current gear sets suggest the Ice Heart monster set, but only use one piece if you're going top tier because you're going to pair that with the Ring of the Pale Order. Also, the Necropotence gear set, which is an overland set, can be found by completing quests in Rivenspire, or you can buy them off of a guild trader. Make sure you pair this set with, again, Mother Sorrow, as almost every single build for Magicka has a part of Mother Sorrow in them because of the massive amounts of critical damage it gives you. All I can say is blasting your enemies with powerful spells feels really, really good. And finally, one of the hardest classes to play correctly is the Magicka Dragonknight. Now, this doesn't mean this is at the bottom on my list, but it's so much freaking fun to play. And remember, we're talking about what's fun to play over what builds and guides suggest how you should play your character. It's about having fun. Using Molten Whip and Engulfing Flames, or the Fire Breath you see here, brings huge amounts of joy and flavor to this build. As for gear, the Overland sets Julianos, which you'll see frequently, gives you a boost to spell critical and spell damage, and once again, Mother Sorrow, more spell crit, will really enhance your gameplay and damage, and it's fun. Just remember, I am giving you some kind of guidelines as far as gear sets, because gear sets do matter in this game. It enhances your power. But that doesn't mean that you have to have all of it or the right ones or whatever it is. Mix and match, check it out, have fun with it. If you're wanting top tier gear builds for this specifically, you'll want to keep Mother Sorrow and the Ring of the Pale Order, but switch to False God's Devotion, which really pushes your spell critical up. It really enhances it very well. You could find False God's Devotion in the Sunspire trial. I hope I've given you some great reasons to have fun with these classes. Stamina Nightblade, Magicka Templar, Stamina Templar, Magicka Sorcerer, and the Magicka Dragonknight, as you see here. Remember, all classes and builds are viable, and you need not worry about running a meta build. Don't worry about it. You're supposed to have fun. That's it for me, everyone. Catch my live streams on Twitch every day except Thursday, and please like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you know when I've uploaded another video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.